So what is the if I put the question like that, what is the Labour government trying to achieve? It's been exactly 10 weeks today that Keir Starmer walked into Downing Street, arriving like the Messiah to claim his throne as our new leader. He talked about turning corners, a new beginning, rebuilding the nation, making the country a better place to live in. You really have got to have the confidence of Herod to have a voice like that and be a member of the current Labour Party and expect to be taken seriously. But he was. Let's give him a chance, eh? We said. I mean, it's going to take, what, a good year before they start to do anything. If only. 2 and a bit months later, they've created the greatest political clusterfudge in living memory. And there's some stiff competition, as you will remember, on that one. I don't think it's too much to ask to want to know the core aims and ideology of my government, their direction of travel, if you like. I have no idea. Quite literally no idea where these people are going. It's like being on a road trip with Stevie Wonder at the wheel. I have absolutely no confidence and no clue as to where they are going. The £22 billion black hole, the phrase that already has its tentacles around the public narrative, people repeating it without even knowing what it means or what it specifically refers to. We've since found out, of course, that almost half of that £22 billion black hole, almost half of it is for those above inflation public sector pay rises, way above what was penciled in by the last government. What else is there? Does this include the eye-watering £10 billion we're giving to foreign aid for climate change? Is that in there as well? What is this Labour government trying to achieve? I mean, winter fuel pay, how many more times can we make this point? We now learn there was no impact assessment. They literally took all the money off the pensioners without anybody saying, do you reckon we should look into this first and see what the impact might be? The government did not carry out an assessment on cutting that support for millions of pensioners. The Prime Minister's own words, Sir Keir Starmer, said he'd not been shown any analysis privately about the possible consequences of his decision to take away the payment from older people who do not receive pension credits. They took winter fuel money away from 10 million people and didn't bother to investigate what the impact might be. What is this Labour government trying to achieve? 0344 499 1000. And a bit of a side issue as well. We'll get into the detail of this a little later, but equally as interesting and confusing, the ban on junk food ads being shown on TV before 9 o'clock. Going to come into force in about a year's time, the government has confirmed. Labour said the watershed on junk food advertising would be enforced alongside a total ban on paid-for online ads, both aimed at tackling childhood obesity. What is the Labour government trying to achieve here? They want to save kids' teeth because some parents apparently can't afford to buy a toothbrush, but somehow managed to afford half a ton of Haribos to rot the teeth in the first place. So, enter everyone's favourite nanny, Keir Starmer. Nanny Keir wants to save the gnashers of your kids. What are these people trying to achieve? 0344 499 1000. I mean, just take those three things. The confusion over the black hole, the lies over the black hole, it's a lie. The winter fuel payment, no impact assessment, a Labour government. Now we've got let's ban the junk food. Have they never heard of streaming services? Have they never heard of areas where advertising will still be there regardless of what they want to do domestically? They're not aware of the international nature of the world we kind of live in, the way that kids digest TV and messages, etc. I mean, all of this stuff. And then it only got me thinking when I was mentioning at the beginning about long-range missiles and Ukraine, which may or may not be the right thing. I'm not a military person. We'll speak to somebody later who certainly is. But I was just thinking, is this going to be one of those kind of moments where Keir has his Blair moment post-Iraq war? I know it's not a full equivalence, but I think you take the point. So riddle me that one if you can. What is this? What do you think? If you think about what's happened in just 10 short weeks since Starmer turned up at the lectern outside that shiny, glossy door of number 10 to proclaim how he's going to change the face of the United Kingdom. Him, yes, that moment. When he did that, where do you think we're at now? What do you sense this government is trying to achieve?